Okay, so here is an introduction on who the BBFC are. The BBFC is responsible for the classification of films in the UK. They provide graded information on appropriateness and content of the film. They're based on the Video Recordings Act 1984, where any home video available for sale or hire must carry an age certificate designated by the BBFC. The purpose of the BBFC is to classify films, DVDs, trailers and adverts for cinema or DVD release. The decisions are based on regularly updated guidelines. This protects viewers from harmful and illegal content. They offer a clear guide to the suitability of a media text for a particular audience and write consumer advice and detailed extended classification information for all cinema releases in the UK. The way movies are classified has changed over the years due to the changing values of society. All decisions are based on published guidelines which are based on public opinion and law. Important decisions reflect the view of the British public. There have been liberal shifts, which is an increasingly strong belief that adults should be free to watch whatever they like within the law. Others reflect increased societal concerns such as racist language or language and behaviour which might be discriminatory against minority or vulnerable groups. Okay, so cuts were never offered to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. The problem was the tone and atmosphere, which are difficult to address with cuts. The film now looks dated, so the public may now be able to cope with it. The context is paramount when making classification decisions. There are new guidelines outlining the sort of considerations when looking at context and how this could mitigate issues such as sex, violence and gore. The film is 18 rated because it has a lot of adult work covering harrowing and distressing themes and using graphic and intense images to portray this. The film features real unsimulated sexual acts. The work's thesis is fairly clear, and there is no harm to adults who might choose to watch strong films such as this one. The film was rejected because it focuses for the majority of its running time on the sexual assault, humiliation and extreme torture of a male and female victim. Cuts alone cannot address the central problem the film faces. So things that might be seen in a 15 rated film are strong violence, frequent strong language, portrayals of sexual activity, strong verbal references to sex, sexual nudity, brief scenes of violence or verbal references to sexual violence, discriminatory language or behavior, and drug taking. At 15, there is no upper limit to the use of strong language. Occasional use of the strongest language, depending on the manner it's used in, who is using the language and its frequency. Continued or aggressive use will not normally be past 15. Racist or homophobic language may be used, and the work could explore themes relating to this. However, at 15, the work as a whole must not endorse discriminatory language or behavior. At 15, sexual activity can be portrayed without strong detail. Nudity may be allowed in a sexual context, but without strong detail. No constraints on nudity in a non-sexual or educational context. There can be strong references to sex and sexual behavior. Strong or crude references are unlikely to be acceptable unless justified by context. Sex and sex references are treated the same irrespective of sexuality. At 15, violence may be strong, but there should be no dwelling on the infliction of pain or injury. The strongest gory images are unacceptable. The strongest sadistic violence is also unlikely to be acceptable. At 15, there can be strong threat and horror as long as there is no sustained focus on sadistic or sexualized threat. At 15, drug-taking may be shown, but the work as a whole must not promote or encourage drug misuse. The misuse of easily accessible and highly dangerous substances like aerosols or solvents is unlikely to be acceptable at 15.